Hey, see if they got any pie. Bring me some pie.
Sit down. The place slightly resembles an insane asylum.
Well, all you need to start an asylum is an empty room and the right kind of people.
It's the kitchen sink.
Prepare to be astonished.
Kitchen sink. Kitchen sink.
Everything.
The kitchen sink.
All right.
Hello, everyone.
And we're back.
Hello,
Yet
Governor.
again.
Hello, Governor. We have a guest today. Well, we should introduce ourselves. I'm Gear, or
I'm-
Rach, whichever one you want to call me, because it's just too much. I give up now.
I'm still batted up, and I
I
am
understand
still
that.
bad.
Shut up. That's bad.
I'm Doc.
And our guest here is Lewis.
Yes.
Lewis
Hello?
is with us, and Red is...
Hey, Lewis.
Red's here too, but he's in like some southern state trying to drink celebrities under the table.
Just for fun.
Why not, right?
The celebrities tend to chase Red quite a bit. Anytime he's partying, they tend to find him.
This guy.
He's like the opposite of you hear somebody celebrity chasing, we get a thrill seeker.
This fucking guy, right?
They seek thrills by finding Red and seeking to drink him under a table.
It'll never happen.
You know who Mila Kunis is, don't you?
Yeah.
Yeah. She chased him down one time at a party. Yeah.
She did.
Just because he had quarters.
Right.
And they were playing video games. See, the thing is that he decided to leave us and go live this like rock star lifestyle. Rock style lifestyle? What the fuck am I talking about? Rock star lifestyle. He's all over the place. Aren't you?
Me, Mila Kunis, and Dave Chappelle and Susan Sarandon all shared a joint one time. That was a pleasure.
Yeah, well, Susan Sarandon wrote a note for me because of you. So there.
Yeah, that was awesome.
And
Yeah, Susan Sarandon's database.
and you guys thanked her for going to Standing Rock for me, which was cool.
Yes.
That was awesome.
Yep. She's a very, very nice lady. She's always done amazing things, and she's always been a protester and people. One of the people for the people.
I like her a lot.
It's nice when celebrities get behind positive social, issues. They have that voice, and that's cool. That's way cool.
It is cool, and it's not often we see that, And I really enjoy it when people use their voices for good. And I think it's your responsibility, to be honest, if you do have a big voice, to use it for some sort of good. I mean, I've got a small voice here in our community, and I've tried to do things like host the benefit for the powwow every year because I believe in that and I want to help, or host benefits for Shasta Roller Derby or whatever so they can help stand up to cancer or one time we did a whole cancer benefit with our band, stuff like that. I mean, I think it's important to do that because that's part of being a persona of the people, is giving back to the people. I mean, I think that's the biggest part. It should be anyway. You shouldn't just be living off the love and the admiration of all these people and not doing something good for them. Honestly, it's just
Right. If your voice is amplified and you're standing on a stage, you better use it for good.
right.
Period.
Yeah, so I listened to your podcast. Was it Turn the Podcast? What would you guys call it?
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
a
I guess,
podcast.
yeah.
It's
All
just
right, well, I
a bunch
wasn't sure. I mean, I don't
of
know.
fuckery,
Yeah. So I was checking out your internet fuckery the other day. So I wasn't sure. I was like, is this going to be like all about social issues, and it's going to be just about music? And it's kitchen sink. So I was like, well, it's probably everything, which is
Yeah.
awesome. But you're talking about using your voice for positive, and I really liked what I didn't listen to every single show you guys have put out so far, but it was really nice to be able to talk about the issues you guys are talking about, like politics and things like that. And I was like, yeah, this is good.
It's something that I think that we need to talk about, especially local politics here, because here where we live, there's some really wacky stuff going on, and stuff that people don't know about and stuff that you can't find on the internet, which, I did this big promo about all this stuff we were going to talk about, and we will touch on all that, but I didn't know at the time if Lewis was going to be able to make it or not, so we're kind of on laggy time. It's kind of the thing we do, so And I like the fact that we can all roll with it too. Like even Red, who's always like bouncing around the country, can just pop on from wherever the hell he's at in any time zone. And I really appreciate him staying up late or getting up early to do this. So thank you, Red.
Red doesn't give a fuck and he never sleeps.
I look forward to this every week, so I enjoy it very much, and I'm just happy that I can be part of it.
Sweet.
Love
awesome.
you, man.
So-
no matter what time zone you're in, too.
We do love you, man. So one of the things I wanted to ask Lewis about, because we've been talking about this for a while, and I've been wanting to ask you about this Medicine Lake thing.
Yes.
What is going? First of all, where is it?
Okay, it's about 25, 30 miles northeast, maybe more in the more east, but northeast of Mount Shasta. It's a huge dome shield volcano. It's starts part of the Cascade Range, which starts at Mount Lassen, goes up into Canada. So you got like the Three Sisters, Mount Hood, Mount Rainier, Mount Shasta, of course, Lassen. So it's this range that we mostly see. In overall size, it's only smaller than Mount Shasta in total size. So even though you see stratovolcanoes like Mount Shasta, Mount Rainier, huge, big, beautiful. You can't really see the Medicine Lake Caldera, Medicine Lake Highlands, whatever you want to call it, volcano, unless you're on the east side. So if you're more by like Tule Lake area, then you can see it because it's
Right.
It's hard to explain. So like, anyway, so it's really big. It's like they call it dome shield, but it's huge. So geothermal energy was what they're trying to use. So now the fracking is a term being used of the way they harness that, which is now, it's cool because we've been fighting for Medicine Lake before fracking was like a term. And so, yeah, so the short of it, what they're trying to do is develop that geothermal energy, which they call green energy, which green energy can be really good. It's not as green as they say.
Right.
But in terms of green energy or anything, it has to be responsible, and it's not. I'm sure we'll get into more, but so we call it Satitla, which is Obsidian Knife Lake, what it translates to. Because right there's it's called Glass Mountain, Obsidian.
Right.
Like, I don't know.
And I've
I
always
love
wanted
Glass
to
Mountain. I got a scar from Glass Mountain.
I've always wanted to go there, and I've never been there. And it's pretty close from here, isn't it?
Yeah, it's so we call it Sot or Yet Sot, which is Obsidian Knife Mountain.
Cool.
So Satitla is Obsidian Knife Lake. So that's how close they're, about probably 2 or 3 miles from each other. There's Little Glass Mountain, Little Medicine Lake. So it's just little. It's a natural lake, but on the volcano.
You got the painted dunes up there too, correct?
The what?
Painted dunes.
Oh yeah. There's petroglyphs.
Really?
Yeah, on the other
cool.
other side. So.
Oh god, I gotta go there.
Yeah.
It's something I really wanted to do, and I'm sick. I can't walk a lot, so I don't get out much. But
so yeah, if you ever go to Medicine Lake and you go through, there's dirt. It's like old Forest Service trail roads. You come out on Captain Jack Stronghold. I don't know if you guys know about Captain Jack.
Yeah, actually, we've discussed
we
Captain
discussed
Jack
it.
on the podcast.
Yeah,
you know?
so
I have a Captain
You gotta
Jack
be louder, man.
sweet. Yeah, that's our they're our neighbors traditionally, the Modocs. He's, I believe he was also part what is now known as Pit River. So just quick, my name is Lewis Gustafson. I go by Pit Fox. My tribe is Pit River, which we're known as now. Our traditional name is Is-a-Wi. It would be really weird for us to have an English name as our name of our tribe.
Right. Well,
yeah.
Cherokee is not the name of my tribe. We're the Aniwia or the Anikadui, right? And I don't know the real name of my other tribe because I have only started to I just found out that I'm Algonquin as well, so I just started learning about that. But I understand people want to say, "Oh, you're Cherokee," and I'm like, "No, that's more like the region where we come from." So it would be like everyone calling you, your race is Redding. You're a Redding.
Oh yeah.
Right? Like if aliens came down, all of you would be a Redding or a Shasta or a whatever.
Right.
So that's pretty much what they did to our people. Was they said you're whatever region you're from.
Yes.
So Pit River is what they named that river, I am imagining.
Yeah, well, they named it because our tribe dug pits and they would trap the deer, so they call it's pits by the river, Pit River Indians. And I also heard people say there's maybe another guy, a man named William Pitt around the time, and aristocrat back in the day. But either way, it's I mean, we could have been the Acorn Hill Indians, you know, or
Right.
natives, whatever you want to call us, are the salmon trap natives,
Right.
depending on just the traits of our people. But it's nothing wrong really with saying, you know, we're Pit River, because that's the easiest way for people to identify us. So getting back to our traditional boundaries, Medicine Lake is in our boundaries. So that's so for us, why it's important beyond, there's a lot of reasons we can get into, but for us, when the Creator made the world, he bathed in that water.
Cool.
So he's talking about making, he rested on these different what's that called, right at the top, the peaks.
Plateaus?
Yeah,
Or peaks?
the different peaks of the little mountain. Yeah, summits of like Mount Hoffman, little,
wow.
there's all the little hills up there. And
Great creation story. I love
yes,
it.
so and so non-native people named it Medicine Lake. So like even so that just to me shows that even non-native people understood, like,
They knew
hey,
something
this
was
is a
happening
cool
good.
place, this is a power place. So we so that's part of it, and there's other. So we talk about cultural and religious rights that people have, like everybody, and for us that would be a sacred site, a holy place. I was in like 97 or maybe 2000, something like that. We've been protesting, we've been fighting in the court case. We can go.
Is it just the Pit River, or are there other nations as well?
Yeah, the Pit River tribe, the
Modoc,
the Wintoon tribe, the
Wintoon.
Modoc. I think Shasta,
Klamath
was okay. They kind of went with it. I'm not sure about Klamath. The Redding Rancheria have MOUs, have all supporting the lawsuit we have against, you know, Calpine and BLM and all this.
Oh, BLM, no.
Guys are going.
Yeah, we don't mean Black Lives Matter.
No, we mean the
This is the
Bureau
Bureau.
of Land Management.
Yes.
Yeah.
Those motherfuckers.
They have so much
Oh,
land.
Elder says not to be angry. Oh, Rachel.
Yeah, so
come on.
we actually have one in court in the Appellate
Appellate.
Federal Appellate Court, and it's being appealed. But so we win and lose, and for me, over time, it gets monotonous because it's frustrating to have to use these avenues to protect our sacred places.
Absolutely.
In the war in Afghanistan, in the Middle East, the people against the United States, or whoever is on our side, but just say U.S., they would hide in the mosques. They would put their forces in mosques because that's their holy mosque. And the United States government's like, hey, we're not going to bomb there because that's a holy place, even though they know that the people trying to kill them but,
are there.
Yes,
Right.
It's a respect, the war, whatever.
Right, it's just like rules of engagement, and it's like they're not going to do that because it would be so horrific and such a heinous crime to bomb a holy place.
Yeah.
Yet,
But
here,
like,
and it's a whole big.
The Creator bathed there.
Yes, and so for us to protect this that we've had since the beginning of time.
Well,
but there's no building.
They believe
there,
he
man.
worked.
Yeah.
He worked 6 days, and then he took a day off, and he rested. On that 7th day, he rested. He was in Medicine Lake. He was taking a bath in the sacred waters.
So it's.
And we won't even treat it with respect.
Yes, and even like we've only had the right to practice our religion since I think it's 1972.
72. Yeah.
So literally, like
we could not practice our religion.
Oh my God.
Or that's our entire.
And that's while they're pushing the lie that that all the pilgrims came here so they could worship religious freely, and they landed on Plymouth Rock. It's all bullshit.
Imagine how that feels.
Yeah,
right?
and I don't know your guys' views on this or whatever, but like this
You're
is a
in a
nation
friendly
found.
environment.
Yeah, this is a nation found on people that immigrated here and did not follow the traditional laws of the people.
Right.
Absolutely.
In the most
in any
horrific
of the
way.
nations.
So that's why I get frustrated when people are so against immigration. I'm like, come on, like I don't see. I mean, obviously you don't want terrorism, whatever, but I think that's so overstated.
Well, we didn't either. I mean, we didn't want terrorists in our country, but they brought us smallpox blankets.
Thank you.
Yep, yeah. My daughter is freaking awesome. Awi, she's in 7th grade, but she's in GATE and all this. So they give her a list of things to do a report on, and one of them is boarding schools.
Oh, Lord.
And so,
mercy.
so
awful shit.
And we're doing things for the county, working with the county, doing Indigenous People Day specifically talking about how missions were ugly, how boarding schools were ugly, what they were. There's basically concentration camps here, the exact same things that happened in Nazi Germany. So it was really interesting that that's why I'm so proud as a parent that and her mom too was really involved. That she took it upon herself to say, I'm doing this and I am going to tell the truth about everything, because what she had read about. So I was like, well, find out what they expect. Do they expect you to talk about how it educated Native people, that it took us off the res and modernized us and helped us move forward, give us education, all this stuff.
And they assimilated us into wonderful Native white people who, you know, became like pillars of the church and the community and all this stuff. And there goes our culture. Our culture is gone. And like I was saying, my personal ancestry goes back 2 generations, and then it's gone. It's gone because of what the U.S. government did to my family, particularly because of the Trail of Tears. My family went and hid in the hollers in Tennessee and did not go on the Trail of Tears, and a lot of the Eastern Cherokee did that. So what happened was, Kizzy, my great-great-grandmother, we don't know her last name. We don't know where her people are. We know we're Bird Clan. We know where we come from. We know the region. We know all of that. But I've been robbed of my history by the United States government, by Andrew Jackson, who now sits in the White House behind that racist president. And I don't understand. I mean, I don't know if people understand how that feels. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think
it's devastating.
It's
Mick
absolutely
Badass. That was Kizzy's last name.
What?
Mick Badass.
Mick Badass.
And people are so disassociated with what the real feeling of that is, because it's easy to say, get over it, you know, all these things that are said about slavery and Native whatever. But like, you can't bring up 9/11 without
no shit,
because
right?
people understand how ugly that was and how innocent people were fucking attacked, you know, and so
what an inside job
happened.
was.
It's fresh in people that are still alive's memory.
Well, and they're not going to support you because they can go on Ancestry.com and look up their crap.
Right. And that's the thing, like, that is fresh in their mind. Well, Kizzy is fresh in my mind every day of my life.
It's your family history, of course.
You know, I mean, my mother raised me as a Native person my entire life. We did not live on the reservation. We knew where we were from. We knew who our people were. But we only had this information, you know, and that's just devastating. You know, I know exactly, like, who she was, but I know exactly everything that happened until her. But after her, I don't know. I can only imagine, you know, and that's awful to tell my kids that my ancestry only goes back.
And that's where your ancestry starts getting good.
That's my grandmother's mom.
Right.
Right? Like, that is my grandmother's mom, and that's it. I don't think people get that. When you start to put it in those terms, like, it's my grandfather's, I'm sorry, not my grandmother, my grandfather's mother, right? That's my grandfather's mother. Do you know where your grandfather's mother came from? Because I sure as hell don't. Because the U.S. government destroyed my family.
This is original people.
Right.
This isn't some relocation story.
Oh, and
these people can all get their stuff online.
One of these days we're going to have a big, long show about the history of the Aniwea, the Cherokee, and the Civil War, and how the horrible plantations of the South were built on the farms that they stole from my people.
Right. We're going to have to broadcast from a rubber room because we are going to be flipping out.
I mean, California had the gold rush. And
oh,
during
God,
the gold rush,
I can't even imagine what it was like for you guys.
Like, not even talking about the Native people, Indian people stuff. The gold rush, people were ugly to each other. Regular American. And so now you have people that aren't even considered half human, like literally, like it's a whole other thing. But and that happened here. Like I'm actually, even though I'm Pit River, I'm Isawi. My dad is actually Miwok, so I'm actually Pit River and Miwok.
Okay.
The way I was taught is because I'm Pit River. Maybe my Miwok would be different if I went there, but you say who you are, and you can acknowledge definitely anything else you are, like if you're whatever. Like, I always thought I was part Scandinavian because my last name is Gustafson. Yeah. But I guess that wasn't even my dad's dad. It's a whole interesting thing, right?
I got one of those with the Viking on the call, Mr. Ferris.
Yeah. So, always, I'm a huge UFC fan, so anytime Alexander Gustafson fights, I'm like, that's my cousin. I swear.
Well, everybody's a cousin anyway.
So, but yeah. So in Coloma, where gold was discovered. In California was in Coloma, so like the Miwok people got it really bad. We're El Dorado Miwok, so that's there. But it happened here. I mean, there was a Trail of Tears here. Yeah. Actually, my daughter had a.
What?
What?
I'm sorry, I wasn't trying to interrupt. I just wanted to go back to you mentioned Captain Jack and the Modoc tribe up there near Medicine Lake.
Yeah.
And I just remember as a child going up there all the time and exploring all the lava tubes, the lava tube national parks. And how I remember the stories of how Captain Jack held off the U.S. Army for months in these caves. And he actually was able to hold them off long enough until they were able to make a treaty, I believe, if I remember the stories correctly.
Yeah.
But,
he turned himself in, yeah.
Yeah, he ended up turning himself in. But it was just, it was amazing. And it's just unbelievable how they had to fight for their lives and for their land the way that they did, and they lived in these caves. And if you've ever gone exploring in these lava tubes, they just stretch for miles and miles, and you can get lost in there and never come out again if you don't know your way around. It's a beautiful and crazy place. I'm sorry, I just wanted to mention that because it reminded me of my childhood for a moment.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, I don't know the validity of this, but it's things that people say. But I heard, like in the 60s or 50s or something, that they found a whole bunch of, someone out there had found a whole bunch of munitions from that time period.
Really?
And
wow.
when they went back, they couldn't find them because they had gotten lost. So, I mean, it sounds good. I mean, it might not. I mean, but yeah, that's just from the local people up there saying that, like, not even native, but just like, yeah, there's a bunch of. Those lava tubes it's like a maze, crazy natural labyrinth.
So
but that's a volcano,
the Miwok and the El Dorado Miwok, and when they discovered gold, and how there was a Trail of Tears here, and I don't think people know about that.
Well, I mean, there's literally so many massacres and atrocities all throughout here and everywhere.
Right.
And getting back to my daughter in education and stuff, right? So she they want to do a report on a person famous or a person that you look up to, whatever. She did on Samson Grant, who was her direct relations on her mom's side. And Samson Grant was Pit River, was taken from his family, went down to Covelo. Because our people went to Covelo, and then even now the people in Covelo they walk. They actually do the walk. It's like a remembrance.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
And then they went down, I believe, all the way down to the bay. And it was really ugly. People that were old and they couldn't make it, killed. They're young people that couldn't, babies, killed.
Same thing with us.
It's
I feel like I learned about this in junior high.
Did you?
Yeah.
I didn't grow up in California, so I don't know.
Well, I've been studying the way original people were treated on this corridor here, like 299, right? And
there's a
people
lot
love all
of
these little
different
towns called
nations,
Burnt
too.
Ranch. Burnt this, burnt that. And they have no idea why it's called burnt. And it's the worst stories that you could conceive
Big
of.
flat.
Why they're burnt. They're burnt rancherias, and the stories are horrifying.
Yes.
If you look
And
into
Captain
any
Jack,
of it,
and I wasn't making a joke earlier, respectfully, I wasn't making a joke about a Captain Jack t-shirt. Our friend and artist Chin Compton actually made some original Captain Jack t-shirts.
Yeah.
And all you had to do was put his face.
Yeah.
His face, the wisdom, you could just tell this man made men look like children. He really did.
And the lava beds are right on the other side of Medicine Lake. It's part of that volcano right there, huge volcano. So getting back, but Medicine Lake.
It's a kitchen sink. We go around and around.
So,
and, it's a circular conversation.
Yeah, so Medicine Lake, we're trying to protect it. There actually is stuff out there already that is, a lot of times it's like, well, there's it's basically a lake with like a campground and a few other things. But, so we're just trying to protect it from further geothermal, fracking, all that. Even now you go there, there's 2 sites, it literally says, you can't be here. There's cancer-causing agents here.
No, I wanted to ask you about the actual fracking of a caldera. Like, wouldn't it fucking collapse?
So mind blowing.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, well,
you know, it's first of all, it's already sunken in, and there's lava caves in it. If you fucking crack into it, it's gonna just fucking lose its structural integrity, dude. That is as much as it is settled, right?
Yes.
I mean, from a scientific standpoint, I'm thinking like structurally, right?
In the Cascade Range is volatile. Mount St. Helens erupted in the 80s. Mount Lassen erupted in like 1911 to 1914, 13, whatever. That's in volcano terms and Earth terms. That ain't shit.
No,
that's
it's not.
Like a millisecond to us.
Right.
So I mean, you have to take that into account. Like that, yeah, because it's all part of that same range. So we're trying to protect it from anything else. So that's just the religious part of it. Yeah. There's still the environmental impacts. That's part of the headwaters of California. It also goes up. So the Pitt River itself starts. It says the Pitt River. If you look at the Sacramento River, the body of water it is without any labels, it starts in Pitt River. It is the Pitt River. 85% of the water. About 80.
I found that out myself like 20. I was like, I was curious, and I'm like, ooh,
and
Google Maps is new.
Yeah, the little Sacramento arm is small. Yeah, and it's 15%. Then you got it'd be like naming fucking the Sacramento River Clear Creek because Clear Creek, you know, like
there's part of it. I mean, why not?
And it's but there's like there's a bigger part of so in the Pitt River starts in Alturas also in our area too, but roughly. And then
I grew up swimming in the Pitt River.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so if something happens, so even doing the test drilling, so they didn't consult with the tribes. That's part of our lawsuit. They didn't do a proper EPA study. The EPA study. So we have the oral history of not even just Native people, the people that have been there forever, saying, "Hey, this water's freezing. It's cold. It's supposed to be this," and now it's not that cold. If you get down deep, it's pretty cold. But they can't prove that because they didn't do a proper EPA study until they already did test drilling. So there's test drilling already done.
Oh man!
So if you release that shit into the atmosphere, it goes up, it comes down, it rains, infects plants, animals eat that, and it just goes on and on. Yeah. And if it was to really like pollute the groundwater, which is within reason for sure. That feeds all of California.
We're all dead.
We're the top.
There goes all of our water. Yeah.
Trickle down, baby.
Yes.
Yeah.
So there's the environmental impacts. There's the other main thing. Calpine received a bunch of tax subsidies in the 90s, millions of dollars. I mean, that's another thing. So when you talk about it's easy for us to be like, hey, this is a religious thing. This is a...
Yeah, and that was what I was going to say. Sorry, before you start that. I was like, it sucks that you have to go through all this litigious bullshit instead of just like, hey, it's our religious site. You fucking save everybody else's religious sites.
You want to keep moving?
Back the shit off.
Yeah, back up.
You know, but sorry, but now you have to go through all the court bullshit.
Yes. And so when you talk to people...
You have to go to a courtroom, by the way, where they have the 10 Commandments.
Oh, man, yeah. Put your hand on the Bible.
You know, and you got to explain your beliefs. And it's like, yours are already on the frickin' wall, guys.
Yeah, and again, I would have to check the validity of this, but I had heard that there was a precedent where someone was debarred for fighting against the government for things. Right. And again, I don't know how true this is.
That's not unheard of.
But,
I'll tell you that.
And so my elder, who's passed away now, he always said we should need to study international law because if you get really down to it, for the government to side against itself, it could be treason.
Yeah.
And I don't know if there's a precedent for that, but that's something really to take into account.
That's fucking interesting. Wow, man, I never really thought about it like that because
that's wise.
Or even still, like there's separate governments involved, realistically too. Yeah. So, like, how does that? Fuck, man, that's a web y'all got yourself into, man. That's messed up.
Well, what kind of
and it's not a web of your creation either, which is the fullest
shit. What kind
ever.
of a logical, respectful conversation are you gonna have with people that think fracking is a great idea?
Yeah,
we're on this spinning chunk of Earth in outer space. Let's just slam it as hard as we can and see if we can crack this thing open. Let's see if we can break it.
Yeah, like
they're never going to respect people's rights or oh my god.
Yeah, so we so that's our fight. We actually won in court. It's being appealed by the BLM. We got Slaughter Pops in the house, DJ Slaughter Pops.
Oh, here we go.
DJ
Hey
Slaughter
man,
Pop.
did you think it was ever gonna stop?
But
Sit right there.
so yeah, so that's what
I'll
was
stand.
roughly what Medicine Lake, and we actually had before Standing Rock. There was a few other places, but Medicine Lake and Mauna Kea too. Medicine Lake had a lot of hype behind it because the name Medicine Lake. Literally, I think that's what it was because
Right.
our sacred site is no more important than sacred sites anywhere else
Right.
in anywhere.
But it's just as important.
But yes, oh yeah. If for us, I mean, it's the end all because it's one of the places. But it's called Medicine Lake, so it's easy for people that are in that fight. Like, hey, we're fighting for Medicine Lake. It sounds important. It sounds just like something. So, so yeah. Then so when Standing Rock came, it really lit a fire. Actually, Mauna Kea, I don't want to overlook that because despite fighting for that, really, especially with social media and all that,
Oh, yeah.
it went big. Then Standing Rock, and then now with I always say like there's issues in your own homelands that you can fight for. So take this fight, this need to stand up for what's right and mobilizing your own community.
Right.
And so anytime we talk about Standing Rock and we're speaking and we're having our own stuff, which you're a part of, like protests and stuff, we say, hey, there's stuff here. Like, you know, we fight, and Medicine Lake's a big part of it. But there's other things. You know, the Winnemem Wintun, they're fighting for the salmon a lot, and which is our fight too because
Which is so important, which has been my fight since the
Yeah.
early 90s. And it's so important because so many cultures, especially our indigenous cultures here in North America, and not just North America, but let's zero in on this Pacific coast, not just here in California, but all the way up. So important to the culture, like all of them. I had the chance to learn Lushootseed, which is the language of the Upper Duwamish from Snohomish to Tulalip.
yeah.
So it's a coastal Salish language. It's really hard. And the word for salmon is shtadad, which is really cool because there's a little a little breath at the end, and if you don't say that breath,
Right.
then you don't say that word right. So it's actually a little like W or an X. I can't remember which one it is right now. I think it's an X. So it's an exponential X at the end of the word. So it looks so crazy because it's just like
Yeah.
a bunch of X's and little like weird squigglies and
Yeah,
stuff. And people are like, what the hell? But in learning that language, when you learn a language, you learn the culture. And by learning that language, I learned very much about the salmon and how important the salmon were to that whole region, not just that one particular language group, but the whole region. And I'm not a salmon-based tribe. We ate deer and acorn mash, you know,
Right.
like, and, well,
Yeah,
we can
we
get
do,
down
yeah.
with that, both of us, you know. Yeah.
But that's a
So,
barter situation right there.
So like the
down in Chico too.
the modern logo of the Pit River tribe is 3 salmon. It's the 3 salmon. I don't know if you've seen that, but that's like so, like the salmon were a big part of our diet. The salmon are a big part of our ecosystem. Salmon come up, they die, they fill the river with nutrients. Those nutrients feed the land, feed the animals, and then they come back, and then obviously it's just the fish itself that are eaten. But Keswick Dam stops all of it.
Yeah,
Shasta
it does.
Dam
Say,
stops
dude,
it.
I'm sure like where the river starts
Yeah,
has a lot to do with all of this
yeah,
down here too. I mean,
Yeah.
you're gonna kill all the aquatic life.
Well,
Yeah.
if you
Start
learn like
pounding into the earth like that.
ecology, like what's happening with those dams is they're making things harder for the salmon to go to their spawning grounds. Not only that, but then the waters are getting too warm, so salmon can't spawn unless the temperature is right, or they can't swim upstream unless the temperature is right. They get sluggish if the water's too warm, and that's what's been happening here locally. I've been watching the
Yeah.
salmon here. Every time like the salmon festival happens, I have to work. You know, like
Yeah.
it's the dumbest thing. It makes me so mad because I'm like, oh, I'm going to the salmon festival.
Have you seen the salmon festival now in Weaverville? There
No.
are no salmon available.
I know, and that's what's been happening. I mean, because
It's heartbreaking.
yeah. So like even if the salmon have the perfect conditions, they're not getting over. They're not getting over Keswick, but they're not
Right,
getting over
right.
Shasta
Yeah, no
Dam.
shit.
Like they're
Yeah,
like
they could be in great shape. There's
yeah.
several dams in the
So
way.
you think, and that Shasta Dam is one of the big attractions over here. You think about the things that are,
Right.
and Shasta Dam is one of them, and not, I mean, it's as what it is architecturally, it's fucking amazing. It's,
Right.
It's a
I mean,
engineering
we
feat.
can look at it and look at it and say it's cool, like,
Yes.
but still.
But it blocks like one of the traditional foods of our people. I mean, forever. You know, I mean, it's insane. Like, and then the other thing with the Sundial Bridge on the north side of the river, there's a Wintun burial site there.
Oh my!
Hey.
And they do their best to kind of like block it off, and they're not going to try to develop it as far as I know.
Bless you.
But so you think about the two major things here in Redding, Shasta County that draw interest and people see with high regard, and for what they are, they're amazing. Sundial Bridge is beautiful. I mean, it's architectural, like but like it also represents the still back ugliness of what had happened to our people.
It's colonization all over
Yeah.
again. I'm not as nice as you are. I'm just
Oh,
so
yeah.
like, I'm
Oh, yeah.
old
It's-
and I'm
Yeah,
pissed.
like
I,
more of a, we
I
don't
can't
give a-
stand it. I
Yeah.
don't
We
like
don't
the
give
bridge.
a fuck
I
about
don't
your
like it.
religion type of thing.
Well, they
And,
don't.
Like, I mean,
We know that.
What you
Right.
guys said earlier, you know, we purposefully do not bomb mosques in countries we're at war with. So like, no. So like,
Yeah.
why do we not fucking take care of our own religious people here and their sites? Like, what the
Right.
fuck, dude?
Yeah.
We caused there to be poisonous contamination signs at a place called Medicine Lake.
Yeah, and that
Thanks,
whole,
white people.
so it's crazy,
Ski.
and but yeah, it's a beautiful place. We love it. We're trying to protect it, and so there's lots of reasons: environmental, religious, homeowner rights for the people
Yeah,
that have property up there.
Back
And
to Medicine
Calpine
Lake.
is actually looking to settle with us. I don't know what the tribe's official position on that. I know I'm on the fence because if we settle, does that mean we're taking money? And you know what I mean? It just becomes a weird thing because it's like fight, and the BLM
Right.
is the ones that are appealing, so it's pretty crazy. Like we actually like I don't.
So you guys already won, and they're like, no.
Yeah, but we win, we lose, we win, we lose.
Yeah.
Administrations
Same thing.
change. It's insane. Like that's why for me, when I was like maybe 16, 17, and I was in this meeting, and they're like with these elders who almost all of them are all gone now. It's sad, but our leaders of our people, the local tribes, and just talking about, hey, we need to protect this place. We need to do this, and this is coming up, and we need to talk about maybe occupying this place, like falling trees, blocking these
Right.
people in Medicine
there.
Lake. Yeah,
I'll
so.
go.
In that's my first introduction is when I was young and really whatever, and part of it was they had the Indigenous Environmental Network. I don't know how familiar with them.
Dallas Goldtooth and those guys.
I'm not too sure, probably, but
I think it's the Goldtooths.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's
but-
Tom Goldtooth and Dallas, and they do good work.
yeah, but we had in '98, I believe, maybe '99, we had their annual gathering up in Pitt River. He'd be the traditional headman of our tribe, our Wahelo. His name is Floyd Buckskin. He's one of my main teachers. He's the coolest guy. He has so much knowledge. Yeah, he's amazing. But
You guys are lucky.
he and there was issues, and it made sense. They're talking about having this gathering at Medicine Lake.
Right.
Then people are like, well, if it's so sacred, we just have all these people come, all this stuff, and then that's a valid point.
It is.
but,
'cause
yeah,
there
so
are some
Floyd's
issues
like-
with that, you know.
So Floyd says, we're just having it at my property, and just did it. So we're like, okay. And I think there was like estimated between 900 and 1,300 people were there. People from around the world. It was insane. A beautiful, amazing thing. There's ceremony. There's dances. There's workshops and all this stuff. So we had that. The International Indian Treaty Council came to the same place a few years later for the same thing. It wasn't as big, but also very, very powerful. So we've been fighting for a long time, way before me. So yeah, I mean, in a nutshell, that's the Medicine Lake fight, and it's very local, and it affects us all.
It really does, because
yes.
it affects our environment, and we already have one super fun site here, Iron Mountain Ore,
Yes.
which blew up and now has 2 anaerobic bacteria that man has never seen before. Did you know that?
Yeah, it's
insane.
It's one of the most
I
contaminated
mean, I
places
knew
on
you
Earth.
knew about the
yes,
site. I didn't
yes.
know. It
Not
was just,
not the specific.
I'm
yeah,
just
new-
freaked out about 2 anaerobic bacteria that man has never seen that we've created by this
Yes.
horrible. It was a copper smelt explosion, and it killed my farm. So my family was part of occupying your lands, and I apologize
Oh,
to
yeah,
you for
man.
that. We've been here since 1884. down the street. We've had the same piece of land here for a long time. And whenever that happened, which I don't know, I think it might have been in the early 1900s or somewhere in the 1920s, the copper mine exploded, and we had a peach farm at the time, and it killed all of the trees in our valley, like here in Happy Valley and Olinda, and it killed everything because the water was contaminated.
Yeah,
it contaminated all the water. So you know what? They're fucking. Oh God!
And it's so close. And those pools have they've broken the levees in the 90s that colored the whole fucking Sacramento River.
Yeah, they just put some gravel down, and said it'll just filter through that and we'll be straight up cool. And I'm like, are you crazy? And so it's now a Superfund site, but the Great Orange one just cut the EPA funding by big time, and Superfund sites no longer have the funding they need. And a Superfund site basically is something that is so fucked up beyond recognition. FUBAR, fucked up beyond all recognition. It cannot be saved by any local groups. It has to be government intervention.
Yes.
So they come in and they have a 20, 30, 50, 100-year plan that they propose through the EPA and whatnot, and they clean it up and they stay there for hundreds of years and fix it. There's places in near St. Louis who have had uranium things going on.
So shit only man could do.
Yeah.
Yes.
So we blew up a copper mine, and now we have this horrifying mess.
It's really one of the worst polluted places on Earth.
On Earth.
Literally.
And it's right here.
Yes.
It's right on the way to your house. It's Iron Mountain Road.
Yeah, at the shooting range out there. Yeah. It was seeping through the ground. This is a few months ago.
Right, it's still happening.
Yeah, it's the Beverly Hillbillies theme song.
The hills have eyes.
Actually happened. Shooting at the ground, and up came some bubbling crude.
I think I saw the Toxic Avenger out there.
I saw the blob. I don't know. It's really scary, though, because, my dad has stories from our family here on my white side that just talks about how it just destroyed everything. Because at the time, my great-grandfather or whatever was a water dude, and he would ride his horse from Rainbow Lake all the way down here, which is up in those mountains over there, all the way down here, and clean out the water ditches and the streams and stuff after the floods and make sure that the water was flowing down. Right? So when it blew up, it's copper colors, and they're like, this is bad. And then all of our peach trees died, so we went to Dairy or something. But, that was we couldn't plant for a while, so we had to go to dairy. So we just raised cows for a while because it was toxic. It was really screwed up. It not just screwed up the plants, it screwed up our land for a while,
There's no assistance you can apply for.
Not just that land, but all the land, right? All of it.
And these things affect everybody that live here. So it's we talk about, Medicine Lake, and they're trying to, access that geothermal stuff on energy, whatever, and they're not even getting the results they need to.
I still
make
don't
a plant.
like that it's so much upriver of all of our water.
And not just
all the water.
Check this out. Even if it went through perfect situation, and it's not. Even if it went through, and they said, because they don't even got the yield they need to create this fucking plant, anyways.
Right.
All the fucking Calpine plants, it's all going. Energy's going to Oregon.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
So they're getting California exceptions. It could be sold back to California at an inflated rate.
Oh, that's
so
nice.
things like that. And this is like so when you talk to people, it's not only is it if you're not Indian, not Native, whatever, and you're interested, these things affect you. So if this shit happens, you're talking about the Iron Mountain, all that messing up. If something happens to and it starts polluting so bad, it's not a native thing. This is not a human thing.
But the thing is, Creator put us here to protect the mother first and foremost.
Right. Not to frack her.
Don't
frack your mama.
That's our thing. And a lot of nations won't even plant stuff. They don't do that. They go and gather and they live off the land. My nation is a planting nation. We're different, but all nations are different, right? So I get that, they see that as rape of the mother. You can't do that. So if you imagine, like, if your ideology is even planting, is destroying the mother and it's sacrilegious, then imagine what geothermal fracking is to these people, you know, to our people, like what that makes us feel like, you know, and a lot of us don't have like the affiliation of a tribe like that. And we don't have the power of a tribal council or a tribal litigation crew, which is really good. When I was in Washington, we worked on the salmon, and we fought for crabbing rights for all of the Quinault Nation, and we went to court, and I have never been more scared in my entire life. There were 300 white angry crabbers.
Where did they go? Like, where did the crabbing rights go? They live there. What the hell?
The white corporations and fishermen wanted they thought that by us taking our treaty rights, right, that would infringe on their world so much, you know, and it's like, we do this to feed our nation. Like, that's what, if the macaw take a whale, and fucking people freak the shit out, that, I know it's weird for people, but that's their way. They take one whale and they live off that whale for the entire year. They
totally
feed
natural.
the whole village. It's
totally
not
natural.
like it's not Taji, you know. It's not killing dolphins in a pool. You know what I mean? It's like they do it traditionally with a spear. They go out there, and then grandmothers have oil all winter long. Grandmothers have food all winter long.
If you can't wrap your head around it, maybe you're just not deep enough.
Right?
You know?
And I've heard the arguments for whatever, like whales and all that. And I'm saving the whales is good, you know. But traditionally, I believe they have the right to do that. And
so do I.
But if you want to talk about what fucking endangered whales, it wasn't native people taking you know what I mean?
Exactly. That was my point in the 90s when the macaw were trying to get the whaling. They did get their whaling rights back, and they went and they took a whale, and we had to be there to protect them because the white people went crazy.
Yeah, they're worried about their profit margin. A profit margin will never compare to people sustaining people.
Do you know how sweet a deer is? Do you know how sweet looking a deer is? They're just as sweet as a whale.
That's right.
You know what I mean?
Just as good as
a buffalo is just as important and precious as a whale, but it's okay to kill them.
Right.
Why? Why is it alright to kill one group of animals but not another in order to sustain your village?
Same reason it's okay to kill one group of humans and not
I know. I know.
Why would anyone propose to question original people's methods?
Because we actually...
It's the most obnoxious act you can indulge in.
My friend Katie...
questioning original people who know what they're doing.
Who actually is also indigenous, said she saw a poll that said 30 to 40% of people don't think Native Americans are real anymore.
What the fuck?
You know? And I'm like,
what is that?
I got punched in the face a month and a half ago for being Native American, you know?
What do they think? Like,
and it's another thing to think about, like in Germany, they if you go there, there's things on, you know, street corners and stuff that not sell it, but they honor the memory of the people that were done wrong there. They're like, hey, we fucked up. It's a shameful thing for Germany. But here in America, I mean, you know, they're gonna they get mad if we don't want, you know, Confederate fucking.
Do you think they're gonna admit they're wrong?
I know,
man. They'll never admit they're wrong.
Disgusting.
Oh, it's insane. And
that would admit defeat. I mean, we cannot be defeated.
Yeah, Beard has a good point. Whales were killed for lamp oil, the same oil that could have fed people, you know? And they don't respect your religions because they don't support genocide. Yeah. And they've genocided us, basically. And that's really... And when, you know, I have all the respect in the world for the Jewish people, and I've been to the National Holocaust Museum, and I have studied the Holocaust, and it destroys me. It is the most terrifying thing. They killed disabled people. They killed black people. They killed Polish people. They killed Russians. They killed Jews for just no reason at all. They were just evil motherfuckers, right? Yeah.
That's pretty
But when they say that was the worst genocide
ever,
that hurts my feelings because I'm like, Smallpox blankets.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah. And like they'll
Boarding schools.
and they'll celebrate things like the missions and stuff. You know?
Oh,
And
makes
I'm
me
like,
fucking sick. I had to
it's
build one of those in
ugly.
fourth
It's like
grade. Fuck.
missions,
Oh, that
boarding
must've been
schools,
hard.
like literally
My
the
dad was
ugliest things
Uh-huh.
you can think of.
Yeah, fourth grade they made us do mission projects, and my dad was fucking furious.
Oh,
when he found
man.
out they wanted me to do that shit.
I would have been furious too. Yeah.
I mean, there's so many horror stories. Like they would rape the women at their leisure. If they got pregnant, they would abort them. Back then, they would make them carry like a little caricature of a baby as their own shame. They would hobble them. I
Their
mean,
own shame for what? Being
oh
raped?
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It's like there's
Yeah, for
a
being
whole
raped.
man. So many things. The different, the cudgels they use, the cat o' nine tails. These
These are
torture
kids
devices,
too. I mean,
like-
a lot of the kids that were in boarding schools were being tortured like this. He's talking about
yes,
boarding schools
Yes.
and missions. They used electric chairs in boarding schools in Canada. Buffy St. Marie was at the opening of the Indigenous Canadian Museum, and she's like, y'all almost got it right, but you know there were electric chairs in the schools, right? This wasn't a happy place.
Yep.
So she really reamed them out at the
Right.
opening, like, okay, we're close. We're getting there.
Right.
We're still not there.
So, like a few months ago, when Governor Jerry Brown was like, "We'll put you in the ground," talking about the Native people who are saying, "Keep it in the ground, keep the oil, and keep it in the ground, in the ground." He's like, "We'll put you in the ground," and then everyone's pissed. I'm fucking pissed. So, like, I literally, because I make music, you know, whatever.
Right.
So literally, I was like, "Fuck this dude," you know, like,
Yep.
and then I was like,
I didn't hear
And then-
about this. I
News-
can't
yeah,
believe
yeah.
I didn't
Brand
hear
new
about
song.
this.
yeah, but like I was like, you know what, motherfucker, you guys already tried, and we're still here. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, it's still not fucking right to say that. I mean, you can't. It's ugly.
You
But
can't say that. That's fucked up. That's
I know.
That's like an ugly soul, dude. You have
Yes.
a bad.
Oh, it's very
you're just
dark.
a
So
bad
people
person anyway.
forget why they remembered his name was because he was a shitty elected official before. That's why his name recognition got him the job again.
Yeah.
They're like,
Oh,
I
that
recognize
sounds
that
familiar.
name.
yeah.
I know
It's
that
like,
guy.
but you don't remember why you recognize that name because he's a piece of shit.
So we have this thing called the Ancestral Run. It's based off a traditional story where the mountain lion and bear race from Mount Shasta to Mount Lassen.
Hell yeah.
And then we run from Medicine Lake to Lassen to Bernie to Shasta. Actually, real quick, now they have a run in Hawaii.
Yeah.
In the early 2000s, we did this thing called the Native Youth Cultural Exchange. We took Hawaiians and
That
Hopi,
is so
and we went
cool.
to Hopi, Hawaii, and here to participate and all this stuff.
On the Big Island?
Yes.
Yeah.
So now, those young men,
Hawaii.
these young men
Hawaiian.
who led the fight with Mauna Kea,
Right, right.
the people are getting arrested. Lana Keela is one of them. Was a part of our group. So
Okay.
they literally will say like, "Hey, we talked to," and I'll say his name, Willard Rhodes, Willow, who's actually lived out here in Happy Valley in his older age. He said he said to fight, you fight. So when the stuff with Mauna Kea was going on, and Lana Keela, who was a part of this Native Youth Cultural Exchange, was like, "Hey, you know, we need to fight." The elder I talked to in California and Pure River said, "We fight. We don't give in. We don't," because they were talking about like maybe settling or
Right,
not
right.
taking the hard stance of physically occupying, and they got arrested. Like the law enforcement arresting the Native Hawaiians were crying.
Oh, yeah, because they're
Because it
related
was-
to him.
Yeah, and it was ugly. So
Yeah.
they knew they're wrong, but what they had to do with that, whatever.
Wait, human cops? What?
Yeah, I know.
Hawaii, dude.
And,
Well, that's the thing on the Big Island. It's
No, I
everybody's
I know.
related.
Yes, so they have this run now called the Makahiki Run, based off the Makahiki old ceremony, which I believe was a time of peace, and they would go around the whole island. I could be a little bit off on this, but so from that, they said, all right, this old tradition of Makahiki, we're going to infuse it with the ancestral run that's from here, and they're going to start their own run called the Makahiki Run.
That's really
And
cool.
we send a whole delegation for people here. They just had it in November. And we've sent, and so now they actually have one in Japan now.
Wow.
Fuck
And
yeah,
they
dude.
run around Fujisan. They run around Mount Fuji. Based off what
It's spreading.
started here, yes.
Spreading.
And they have one, and they're gonna have one in Norway. That's the one I really want to go
Dude.
to. So I don't know, that'll be more pending. But there's also a run. The Modocs have their run. They run through Captain Jack Stronghold.
Right.
Our run, we have our run.
Wow.
They also run from Alturas, which is part of our our ancestral lands.
Right.
They call it the Upriver Run, and then they meet us in Bernie. So while we're running from Medicine Lake
a long way.
to Shasta, yeah. And
That is a long
Rudy
way.
participates in that as well. We're all, yeah, you do, man. Shoot.
Which one?
The Ancestral
Oh,
Run.
I thought you were saying the Upper River. I'm like,
It's
oh.
all the same. It's all good. It's all good. So, but yeah, and then to the river, down out of Fresno, roughly, they have their Ancestral Run. It's a beautiful thing. It's a powerful thing. So,
I know the Lakotas do it too. They do
yeah.
the youth ran from like
Yes.
Pine Ridge to DC. I mean, that was amazing.
Yeah. They have the Peace and Dignity Run, where they run from the tip of South America up into Alaska. Like it's amazing. These
Can
things
you
are.
walk?
Yeah, I know. But so we're just. I'm like I said. I do my best to be involved with the local community. But the local community, while small, is very strong, and we do a lot of good. So that's,
Yeah, you guys are really, really active.
we try to be. I feel like I could be more active, but myself personally, but it's good. It's good. I think.
I wish I could be more active, especially like it's hard to be a native out of water. You know,
Mhm.
I'm like I'm a visitor in your lands. I don't know
Oh,
what
yeah?
to do. I don't know any natives except for you two. So like, I mean,
you pick good choices.
I did. You guys are awesome. So like, you guys are pretty much it in your circle. You know, like I know natives not here. I just don't know any natives here. So it's hard because like I have like a Lakota auntie. Doesn't everybody have like at least one, right? And a Lakota uncle, but I don't have a lot of elders. I don't have a lot of guidance, and that sucks. You know, like it's really cool that you guys have that in your lives. It's really fantastic that you're able to rely on your community and have that like feedback and that real, because I remember being like really around Native people and going to Potlatch every Tuesday and going to powwow every Wednesday and doing these things like with the community, and that's what Native life is about, like for real, like being a part of the community and being there with your people and not just fighting but laughing and eating a lot of eating, by the way. We love to eat.
Yeah.
I'm all about it.
Literally, anytime I Snapchat myself making fry bread, Rudy just happens to be like, "Hey, I'm cruising over." I haven't heard for like a month. Like, and it's just.
I'm just saying, my stove's been broken for a couple years, so I can't make fry bread.
I'll go over and fix it. No, I'm just
I
kidding.
know.
My kids are pissed off at me. They're like, well, I can make wojapi too, which is delish. Have you ever had wojapi? It's like fruit soup. It's a Lakota thing that my auntie taught me how to make, and it's the topping for fry bread, and it's
Nice.
oh my god. But I really like the Ojibwe way of making fry bread. I had an Ojibwe auntie too, and she taught me how to make box and bangs, and that's like meatball soup with yeast fry bread.
Oh man.
Oh Lord of mercy!
good.
Oh my god!
Yeah, we
y'all.
our bread is called wahach, our traditional word. But it's more like we call it pan bread. Is what it's
Right.
closest to. So it's like
Bannock.
I think so.
A little
I'm
more
not
like
too sure.
Bannock
Yeah.
is kind of like flat and baked. It's
It's kind
more
of like it's
not
cooked on a
fried.
stove, but it's like a
I think you
thick
could-
tortilla.
Yeah,
basically,
that's
a really
that's
thick,
like Bannock. Yeah.
So it's really
Little more like
and
Bannock.
I can't cook that yet. So that's something I'll work on. I know an elder that she's really
Oh,
good at
cool.
that, so I was gonna.
So it's
hit around.
awesome to like learn how to make our,
Yeah.
our native foods. Like I know that if you don't prepare acorns right, you can kill yourself or something.
Yeah, well, it's
Yeah.
bitter. It's
It's
gross.
terrifying.
But
it's
that's
really
part of it.
bad.
That's probably why I
yeah.
didn't like it the first time I
It's
tried it.
It's so good for you though. Like I'm surprised. Like no health stores or any like
Like
major.
hippies in the like.
Yeah. Oh, I know.
We
I
gotta
know.
do that later, man.
I know. Yeah.
That's our next
Copyright.
step.
Copyright Lewis.
I'll be the creative. Someone come up with capital. And we'll,
Okay, Bad's
we'll
always thinking we'll get investors. Red, are you still there?
Yeah.
He'll invest. Woo!
Ridley!
Red will find some investors, right?
Susan Sarandon.
I can find somebody.
Yeah, you can talk Kieran McCulkin into it, right?
Red will sell his body for us.
He'll sell your body.
Oh my god.
I know you're like over there being quiet because we're being all crazy over here.
Yeah.
You guys are having a moment. I don't want to interrupt a good conversation.
Word sauce.
So yeah.
Are you serious right now?
Yep.
So yeah, I did want to share because I do
Here.
make music.
Oh yeah, I wanted to talk about
Yeah.
your bands and stuff and what you do
So
around.
I make rap music. Like right.
So do I.
I am
He
not
does.
into rap. Like, I don't listen to rap. I listen to maybe like 5% rap music tops, like literally. So people are like, oh, you guys sound like so and so. I'm like, your cousin sounds like, I have no idea who they're talking about. Right. Or like, what kind of rap are you? I'm like, I don't even know, man. It's like native rap. That's the closest thing.
You're like hardcore gangsta native rap, bitches.
I'm a metal fan. So you've
definitely.
You've done Res Rocks.
Yep,
and
several times.
And we have covered Slipknot. We have covered Marilyn Manson.
Metallica.
Like,
I've seen you do that. I think.
Yeah, we've done all sorts
Sandman,
of. We've done all sorts of. A lot of classic rock too, but
But
so
I've
yeah,
seen a lot of native raps out of you guys too.
Oh yeah, So I was gonna share a part of this piece is called Holy War's Punishment Due.
Yeah, sounds
Literally,
like I know that guy. Yeah.
It's named completely after a Megadeth song.
Yep.
Who is then that's just background. That song is actually two songs, kind of two ideas put into one song. And so I took a play off that, and I did a mixtape, which is other people's instrumentals. Right. So it's actually to a Gorillaz instrumental.
Nice.
And because I love the Gorillaz, but I'm not gonna have no music with this. But I did spoken word before I did rap. So when I do so rap kind of came easy because spoken word for myself is harder to compose and harder. It's just a whole different thing.
It is.
But so I'll share that because it's like half spoken word and then kind of like half rap, which is all right too. But
Sweet.
A lot of our music is native centric, and a lot of it is about our rights and things that we deal with. And so anyways, yeah. So nothing here will be lost in translation. Nothing here will be lost in translation. I'm angry as I think about extermination after extermination. Evacuations upon native civilizations and how our oppressors are given accommodations with no rationalization. The capitalization upon false allegations and accusations has led to an illegal land grab from the Big Island to the Cascades to the Appalachians. The creation of slanted public educations of ignoring American genocides of entire generations is sending me on a tangent. This has been allowed to run rampant. Our voice has been left absent. We've been busted into fragments, leaving us transient on reservations. This nation was founded upon devastations, desecrations, and plantations. To all my relations, this bribery can't stop what's inside of me. They won't even try to see. They lie to me when they say it's okay to confide in me. You see, justice is a little too close to just us. Listless words when they say to trust us. I'm causing a disruption. I'm calling for an obstruction of this corruption, the reduction of abductions of native women, and the destructions, presumptions, and deconstructions we've been given. Because the House of Representatives does not represent natives. And then that's like the spoken word part.
Yeah.
Woo!
Dude, that was woo!
Fire!
And then it's more rap too. The second part's rap, but it's still close to like get peeled like a plantain is due to damn thing. I roll with aim, in control of the game. The American Indian movement, pit crew is doing it and moving it. The other cats won't be proving it because we invite and incite the right to fight for our rights. We invite and incite the right to fight for our rights. I realize what it took for us just to be alive. Be surprised we didn't thrive, we survived. I spit, it's efficient. They spit, it's deficient. Your condition's sufficient. Well, I split them like division in fractions. Your inaction is a lack of passion. When I'm in action, it's an act of passion. Who is the hottest? Pit Foxes. Check your pockets. Stop it. It's getting hot quick. Can't top it. Knock them unconscious. Get off of this. If you're acting obnoxious, I'll burn you, so be cautious. Check your options. I'll stop when I'm dead. Off with your head, I'm so toxic, it's nauseous. Shout out to the Victors and the Thomases. No promises. One fish, two fish, red fish, blue fish. This is my music, I'm Lewis, I'm losing it. Causing confusion, contusions, and bruises. Check your uses, we're blowing these fuses. It induces concussions, repercussions, reductions. Rushing to bust them, hit them hard like percussion. Dusting and crush them, disgusting, don't trust them. Give me the ball and I'm rushing. In my wake, there's carcasses, I'm hard to miss. If you're starting some shit, you better come harder than this. Traumatic, psychopathically drastic. Melted like plastic, I pass it. I'm bombastic, don't panic, not manic, shake the planet. I hit hard like granite, can't stand it, goddammit. Get smashed like preserves, rights reserved. Deserve to see more curves, get more game than wildlife preserved if you haven't heard.
Word.
Shit. But that's just
Pit Foxes.
Yeah. And so yeah, like I said, I'm Pit Fox. You can just look it up, whatever, SoundCloud, YouTube.
Yeah, I know you're on YouTube. I've seen your stuff.
And I make music with my cousin. For the most part, we're Pit Crew, P-I-T-T, like Pit River. But Crew, C-R-U-E,
like Motley
Crue, because I'm a metal man. I'm not even joking. Like me and Rude come over, we listen to Slayer and Metallica like the whole time.
Watch
and
music videos and review them like Beavis and Butthead until
Yeah.
like 5 in the morning.
Yeah, so
awesome.
So it's interesting just to be
That was fucking awesome.
That
dude.
was
Yeah.
fucking awesome.
and so without too much ego, the other. For the most part, other people in the hip hop community, they really like our stuff. At least like my stuff a lot,
Right.
and they always want to collab in this.
Hey,
And
if you need, like a band or anything.
We have.
well, hey, I play bass. I am
do I.
like literally
But you're better than me.
I'm 2 years in now, but I'm good. I play with my fingers, man. But like,
So do I,
I'm
so
a
do
guitar
I,
player.
so do
That's
I.
what I'm like,
okay, cool, yeah.
But he plays guitar, but I play with the pick
Well,
because.
I seen your guys' wedding video, like,
No. God.
right? That was you guys, yeah.
Let me link to your stuff, dude. Cause
We
I
could
know
end
you're
our
good.
shit with our song.
Yeah, we should. We have one song.
That was recorded well.
Oh yeah.
Well, we have a lot of songs that were just dumb.
Oh. Yeah, so like I'm starting like so my mixtape that came out was like I the instrumentals Creeping Death, Rammstein,
Nice.
Hallelujah, some like complete scratch stuff. I did a kind of what's that type of music now? Like it's not like
Trap music?
trap, yeah, like trap music, and it's not like it's
My,
It's kind of
my
like
son is
electronic
making trap
hip-hop.
beats right now, and it's just like I love them because they're 808 kick drums and everything.
Mm-hmm.
But I never knew someone would love hi hats more than me. It's just like his relationship with hi hats is just next level.
yeah.
But yeah, he's making great beats.
So yeah, like even today on Facebook, right before I came, like I recorded myself playing.
You do a lot of Facebook lives too. Yeah.
And I was
You have a lot more guts than I do.
Spiders
You're awesome.
by System of a Down.
Yeah.
Fight Fire with Fire is the one that I've been jamming the most because it's like one of the hardest. Spit Out the Bone. It's
That's
like the
such a
harder
good
shit that I can play.
song.
So that.
Oh, sorry, I got
love that.
excited.
Yeah, so I'm big metal guy. I love and I love rock,
Slayer.
classic rock. I mean.
Oh, by the way, Slayer, Lamb of God, Behemoth, Anthrax, and Testament
yeah.
are all going out on a summer tour.
Really? Are they coming up here?
I don't know yet.
Not here.
Cottonwood,
No,
you know.
Yeah.
They're in Happy Valley at the Happy Valley Grange,
Say
you
like
know.
San Francisco, Sacramento.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know yet. They've only released one date.
Man, if we just knew someone that worked for a fucking
A
Z-Rock
radio
or
station.
something.
Yeah,
I know.
You know.
I don't know about any of that shit. I don't know if we'll have tickets.
What the fuck was that?
Oh my goodness. All right. We're coming to the end
Yeah,
of the
yeah.
show, guys.
That-
But no, thank you. And you know what? I'd love to have you back anytime you'd like to come. You guys are always welcome to the mini res. Come on. It's
No,
you know, look around
mini
you.
res.
This place is like, oh God, I'm so sorry.
Yeah, no, I appreciate the invite. I appreciate you guys for having me. I guess
didn't
having us.
offer you anything to drink, and I feel like an ass. I'm sorry.
We just made you sit in the corner and talk. I
Oh,
mean,
yeah. I
Made
know.
some
I'm
coffee
sitting in
or
the cold.
something.
Yeah. No, I'll take a case of Rockstars. I ain't tripping.
I don't have
You too, Red Man. I didn't chime in too much. He's like the Oz man behind the curtain, but
right?
he has all the connects.
Red.
No worries. I usually have a lot to say, but I was glad to be able to just listen and learn a little bit. This was a great show. You had a lot of good information, and I'm happy that you were able to come on. You definitely need to come back on again.
Yeah,
Yeah,
for
it'd be cool. I mean,
and you need to come back here and fucking work the hi-hats, man.
Trap beats.
We don't have a drummer right now because he's traipsing around trying to outdrink Kieran McCulkin.
Jeez.
just don't try to outdrink 80s Motley Crue.
Yeah, or out coke them, you know, 'cause they were
the
on
heroin,
coke.
yeah,
They were,
yeah.
you know, when you're trying to
Or
outdrink
don't try to
out
outpaint Ozzy Osbourne.
right? Or out Ozzy.
Mm-hmm.
He was great at Aftershock. I'm sorry. That was an aside. I finally saw Ozzy. I'd never seen him before.
I saw No More Tours tour, 92, I believe.
And you know what? He
I
keeps
was like
having
10.
no more tours.
Oh, I know. I know. So, like, what was that? Like, fucking 26 years ago or something? Man, he hustled us. But it was awesome.
We got a couple of comments. Yes, please, Lewis, come back for more good talking and rapping and history and stories. The audience approves. Thank you, ND, in the chat.
Thank you very much.
And another great show from Widow Crypt. Thank you. By the way, Widow Crypt will be our guest next week. She's going to be talking about some upcoming projects that are going to be so cool. Stay tuned. It's going to be sick. Amazing. I'm Oprahing. Amazing. So that's next week. I'm excited about that because she actually, Widow Crypt is the one
Surprise under the chair.
Interviews for you.
Interviews for you. Interviews for everyone. Widow Crypt is the one who designed our Facebook and YouTube banners. So I just wanted to say
that's cool.
Thank you for that. She's cool. I have to show you the Facebook one. She did this. It's very cool. I like it. She does good work. Look, right there. Pretty. And you know what we're trying to do on our show is if you want to send us some songs, we are going to, because we're on YouTube, we can't use anything copyrighted, so we're going to use our songs and local songs.
I have all sorts of
I mean, whatever you want to play, just send to us and we'll throw on a song or two.
And if you send me like a song, you know, include like a by itself vocal track, so maybe we can write some music
I could
around
probably do
it.
that. Yeah, that'd be cool. Yeah,
That was a question.
Yeah, I can do that.
We like to play around. You should come out to the studio sometime because Red's not here. You should come home, Red. Oh, you should come home, Red. I always talk to the radio, and Bad yells at me because I should be talking to the microphone. Thanks, Doc, for coming down.
Soon enough.
Okay, fine, whatever.
Good enough.
I have your dog.
That's true.
He's like, we
Is that
don't
the dog that was
negotiate
trying to
with
attack me?
terrorists.
Yes.
It's true. I
was
don't
the
really
dog
want
that
to talk
kicked
about
Doc
it,
in the
but
nuts.
I have your dog. She just, like, punched Doc in a very uncomfortable place. It wasn't very nice.
It was a very heavy hand. Come on.
All right, guys. I think we're gonna end
Thanks
on
again.
our silly song that I tried to clean up and edit with my massive, awesome audio editing skills because I am the fucking master. Don't forget it.
You made a mediocre recording sound good.
Better. And I did all the beginning songs, all the beginning intros and outros and all that stuff. Don't forget it. I did that. Because you know what? My dad says, oh, Bat does good work. Good job, Bat. And I'm like, excuse me? I did all that. What the hell's wrong with you? Jesus.
I don't do shit, man.
It's me.
I run it.
Yeah.
She mixes, I run it.
Yep. All right. Thank you. I was just being bitchy. It's been a horrible day. Please, California, learn how to drive in the rain, turn your lights on, and go 70
Turn your
in the
fucking
fast
lights
lane,
on.
or move over.
If you're driving a gray fucking vehicle, turn your fucking lights on.
Yeah, bad. It's true. I
can't see them.
I'm driving a gray vehicle.
Turn your fucking lights on.
All right. On that note, we're done.
This
All
has
right,
been
let's get out of
Kitchen
here.
Sink.
We'll play out with one of our tunes.
Bye, Red.
Not the kitchen sink.
Later on, guys. I'll talk to you
Kitchen
guys
sink.
next week.
I miss you.
Later.
You can stay on the line, though.
The kitchen sink. With gear.
There was just kittens and fucking puppies and rainbows and bunnies. Bad.
How can you edit out a Pegasus?
Red.
I like unicorns.
And Doc.
Loose cannon! What have you got yourself into, man?
Everything.
And the kitchen sink.
Just sitting around, freaking hanging out.
You
It's
know,
kind of like the Newsweek.
there's not much going on
It
in
was
the news.
just the news was just kind of hanging out.
You know, I've thought that the president being investigated by the FBI was kind of normal. You know,
Yeah.
that's happened before, hasn't it?
has.
That's happened before,
That makes
right?
it normal. Yeah, that happened before.
The kitchen sink.
Thursdays at 8 p.m.